All right, let's jump into this tier list. This is pre-Milwaukee tier list for the Milwaukee Regional Championships coming up this weekend. Let's just start off with where this is the best deck. It's the best deck. Gardevoir here, S tier. I think it's the only deck I'm going to put in S tier. I just don't feel confident to put anything else. And this is, remember, this is a metagame tier list, not like a format tier list. So this is like a prediction for what I think the good plays for Milwaukee are. Not necessarily how good the deck is in the format. I don't see Gardevoir not being S tier. I'm going to give it 16% of the metagame. And this isn't just Gardevoir. This is Guardy / Guardy Jelly. Like all Guardy builds, 16% of the meta, S tier. I trust the Guardy players to figure it out and come up with cool, good plays. So, yeah. Guardy's the deck for the tournament. And yeah, it's going to be the only deck up here in S tier for sure. Oh, wait, usually I name these. Well, actually, I'll keep this as S tier, to be honest, for this tournament because... I'll keep this as S tier for this one specifically because Guardy is the S tier deck for sure. Up next, we got Golden Go Dusknoir, which definitely is not going to be A tier. I don't think I could put it in C tier, though. So, Poltnor, I think I'm putting it in B tier. I don't think it's good enough for A tier. I'm going to put it in B tier. And it's probably still going to be pretty popular, I imagine. Like 12 to 10%, 10 to 12%. 10. I'm with you, Fizzlewizzle. Let's go with 10% Poltnor. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't think Poltnor's been like a tournament winning contender for a while because you can't beat Guardy. Yeah, you can't beat Guardy, so you're just never going to be able to win the tournament. I think it's gotten worse for it recently. Psyduck's out now. The Duck is here. More people are playing decks that I think are more favored against Poltnor than there has been in the past as well. More stuff like Sarah Ledges and Golden Goes, which are better than stuff like Raging Bolts for the Poltnor. So I almost want to put Poltnor in C tier, but it probably it's still probably better than that. Okay, although one criteria with this list as well though is like, I guess the only decks I'm going to put in A tier are decks that I think can beat Gardevoir. Not all decks that can beat Gardevoir I'll put in A tier, but you can't make it into A tier unless you have a 50-50. Slightly unfavored against Gardevoir would be fine. But for A tier decks, the first one, I'm putting Charizard. I think Charizard feels really good right now. I really like the idea of Charizard right now. Matches up really well into a lot of the more aggressive decks like the Sarah Ledges and the Golden Goes. And your favorite against Gardevoir, you got the Psyduck, so now you can have like a fine Poltnor matchup. This is like my one hang up with Charizard would be is I don't fully know how I feel like Charizard lines up into Poltnor with the Duck, but even if you're still unfavored if you play Duck, Poltnor is so much worse of a play that I think that just makes so much room for Charizard. What Zard do you think is the play? No Dusk plus Jet? I don't like Dusk. I don't like Dusknoir or the Jet. Well, the Jet I'm like not as sold on, but if you're not playing Dusknoir to play then the Klefki, then the Jets like lose value, so there's like that, I guess. Yeah. Big Charizard fan right now. I'm gonna give him at least 5%. I think it'll be at least 5% of the metagame, but I'll give it 6%. Yeah, I don't like the Dusknoir. The Dusknoir could be the best way to play the deck. I don't really care. I don't like Dusknoir. It seems fine though. Gotta go with the Jet Tatsu. The Jets just don't matter that much for like the turn 1 potential of getting to Tatsu. You can just like hard retreat and it's like the same thing. So I'm not sold on that being a big deal, to be honest. I think the great matchup is rough for Zard, but otherwise it's pretty good. That's why I like the Mist Energies, actually, Oliver. That's why I like Heavy Mist, so you can just play around. It's so easy to play around Devo. Like, I actually want to play, like, 3 Mist Energy to play around Grim. I like the idea of that. We'll do Golden Go next. And this is, like, every build of Golden Go. I don't know which build of Golden Go is best. There's a lot of builds of Golden Go. Prime Catchers, there's Trolleys, there's Soul Rock, there's Lunatone, there's Energy Surge Pro, there's Togekiss. Yeah, there's a lot... There's a lot going on here as to what is the best way to play Golden Go. But the deck's still probably pretty solid. Probably a B tier play. Probably going to be fairly popular. 10 to 12%. We'll give it 10. Maybe we should give it 12. 10 to 12. We'll give it 10 for right now. We might adjust the position of some of these decks and their meta percentages as we go along. There's Soul Rock and there's Lunatone. Yeah, 2 different builds of Golden Go. Some play the Soul Rock, some play the Lunatone. No one has both though. Is Mega Latias good with Polt, Dragapult, and Charizard? Didn't you just say you would beat me if you played against me? And now you're asking me if Mega Latias is good in Dragapult and Charizard? Bro, you gotta lock in. What are we doing here? All right, Raging Bolts. Raging Bolts I would put as... So for you, Gardevoir will win this regional too? I think it has the highest chance. I think Guardy's like Yeah, Guardia has the highest chance to win the tournament. For sure. Bro, you want to play? Not after that question, no. What the heck? That can't be worth it anymore at this point. All right, Raging Bolt. I'm putting 5% of the meta. And I think I'm putting D tier. Unfavored against Guardian, favored against Charizard, unfavored against Poltnor. Honestly, the Golden Go matchup, I have to imagine the Golden Go matchup has gotten worse now that they have Solrock Lunatone. Like, the matchup just has to be worse as well. Maybe not to unfavored territory, but maybe it's like close to like 50-50. Dango should be A. Nah, Dango's not that good right now. Dango's like fine. I actually like Dango and Poltnor. I almost want to put them both in C tier, but we'll see how the tier list develops. We'll see how the tier list develops, and these might both make their way into C tier. Because honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of either of these decks right now. I think Golden Go's fine. I think Poltnor's fine. I'd rather play Golden Go than Poltnor though. I think because I think you have a better Gardevoir matchup as Golden Go than Poltnor. So, but yeah, Raging Bolt seems terrible right now. 5%, sure. Grimmsnarl, Frostlass. Honestly, I've been giving this deck. I don't know. I'm gonna put. I feel like Grimmsnarl is a B tier deck. I'm like Golden Go and Poltnor. I'm a little bit more shaky on, but I think Grimmsnarl's B tier. Maybe one of the reasons I'm so. Like, I just don't think Grimmsnarl's that good. I think it's like fine, but like that's B tier, right? B tier is fine, right? It's the fine tier. But I'm pretty confident with Grimmsnarl being in B tier here. Give him like 8% of the meta or something like that. I don't want to say I've been like a Grim hater recently, but I just don't have faith in the deck. Yeah, my faith in the deck, I don't want to say it's shaken. Yeah, I don't want to say it's shaken, but yeah, Grim is like fine. I think Grim is like fine. Curry was in here earlier, who's a big Grim enjoyer. He says he thinks this is the best Grim has ever been. I think his Grim is definitely a better play now than it was at like Worlds or the first weekend. Yeah, there's Curry in chat. You're a certified Grim hater at this point. The deck just seems super fine. The deck just seems super fine. I do agree it is. I don't think it's better than it was at NAIC. I think Grim's best time was probably NAIC. There was more Raging Bolt then, though. I guess which is a fair point that you made. There's way less Raging Bolt now. But I don't even know how. I don't think Grim pairs that ridiculously well into something like a Ceruledge. Like now there's Ceruledge on the is on the map. More Guardies are Jellies, which I think is more annoying than the non-Jelly Guardies, but maybe it's about the same. They just have different ways to beat you, but you're still favored against both. Heavy underestimating Lily's impact on the deck. That is fair as well. I also have not played the deck with Lilies. What I've seen from the deck, though, I have not been overly impressed. But I'm gonna put it in B tier, but I think it's solidly in B tier. Whereas, like, I almost want to put Golden Go and Poltnor in C. Grimmsnarl, I think my what's it called, understanding, appreciation, whatever, I could see moving Grim up to A. With further Grim knowledge, I could see putting Grimmsnarl into the A tier. But my current take on Grim, solid B tier deck, probably 8% meta share. I think I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy, right? Maybe 10. I could see Grim being 10. It's been being played a lot in like online tournaments, stuff like that. All right, Ceruledge, B tier. Grim players should be on 3 Morgrims and 2 to 3 boss this weekend. IMO. I'm a Yveltal fan, but I know some people prefer Cactus. It's got to be close between the Cactus and the Yveltal, right? It's got to be pretty close. If Zard and Grim are played a lot, are we jungle dumping? No, I don't think that makes. I don't think there's not no amount of Grim and Zard, but there's not like this is definitely not enough Grim and Zard to all of a sudden be jungle dumping for sure. All right, up next, Ceruledge. I definitely rate Ceruledge higher than Golden Go, so at the very least, I have to put Ceruledge in B tier, but I could see Ceruledge being in A tier. I've been very impressed by Ceruledge so far from what I've played, so I almost want to put Ceruledge in A tier. And it'll probably won't be more popular than Golden Go, probably like another 8% here for Ceruledge, so I'll put him in B tier. Terrabox. Terrabox is a fine deck. It's okay. Really bad Gardevoir matchup. Even worse with the Jelly stuff, I have to imagine, right? I almost want to put Terrabox in C tier. I think Terrabox is better than Raging Bolt, but yeah, I think Terrabox is a better play than Raging Bolt, but the Guardian matchup is so bad, like, I don't know, it's tough to want to put it any higher, to be honest. Also, more Poltnor players more Pult Nor players are playing Rare Candy because Rare Candy with Lily feels better than Candy with Research, which is another hit for Terrabox in like that matchup specifically. And I don't think like Terrabox specifically pairs super well into Ceruledge either. So I'm gonna give Terrabox, I don't know what someone said 4%. I think that seems fine, right? 4% seems fine for Terrabox. Every deck is fine. Yeah, they're all okay to some extent, right? All right, Golden Go Joltik, D tier. Deck's mid to begin with, and you got a terrible Guardian matchup, 3%. Zoroark, big Zoroark fan right now. I'm a big fan of Zoroark, but I will say one thing with Zoroark though. I mean, I guess like the big thing for me with Zoroark is like Ceruledge and Charizard are both. And Zoroark doesn't have a great way to beat Ceruledge, right? I'm not trolling, right? Like we don't have a great way to run that matchup. Like we have the Yveltal things, but they have Jets, they have Turo, they have Jet, they have Turo. So that's tough. Charizard's tough. But besides that, I'm a pretty big, like, against everything else, especially with Guardies going more towards Jelly. Like, I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of Zoroark now. I think I will put it A tier. It does have its bad matchups, but I think the good matchups it has, like, kind of outweighs that. You still have Toadscruel for the Golden Go matchup. Your Grim matchup has always felt pretty close, but I think I give Grim the edge overall. Poltnor's, it's fine to favored. I mean, you could play the Duck if you really wanted to. But yeah, is 5% too high for Zoroark? Maybe more. It's going to be actually probably pretty low. It'll probably be like 3 or 2, right? I don't think the deck has a ton of hype right now at all. So Zoroark Crustle. Sure, Zoroark Crustle. Why not? It went to the Guardian Pult, so A seems good. Beating Pult is just like way less valuable than it used to be, though, to be honest. Beating Dragapult Dusknoir is like so much less relevant now, I think. Like for this tournament, it's like maybe the least relevant it's ever been to beat Poltnor since they got Badoo. Obviously, he's still pretty good. You still want to, I guess. I'd say 4%. I don't know. I feel like it's not on that. I think it's not that hype right now. I feel it's not that hype right now. Flareon Noctowl. I'm trying to think if I think this deck is any better than Terrabox, but I don't think it is. Tough Guardian matchup. Yeah, Poltnor's, but like, yeah, I don't think this deck is any better than Terrabox. Is it worse though? I guess that's the question. Is it worse? Draw feels like it needs a solid meta read to be successful, and the average player won't have that, so it won't be as popular. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good play, but yeah, it's one of those decks that it's going to be hard for it to ever be popular for sure. Better Dango matchup has to matter. I mean, Terrabox and Flareon are both pretty good against Dango, right? Like they're both pretty good against Dango. They both seem pretty good. You know, I've said Eevees has a good matchup into Jelly. Did he? Interesting. How do you feel about Zard Pult? I think it's just bad. I should prefer it over Pidgeot. Zard feels clunky before getting Pidgeot out. Yeah, I mean, getting Pidgeot out's a pretty big part of the deck, but once you get there, you're kind of cooking. You can also survive without it as well. Yeah, I'm going to put it... I'll leave it with Terrabox for right now, to be honest. But if anything, it's worse than Terrabox. And I don't know, 3% of the meta? Something like that. Pidgeot Control, I feel pretty solid to put this... I feel pretty confident to like put this in B tier. I think Pidgeot Control seems pretty good. Of course, I haven't really played with the deck a whole ton, but just like looking at what people are playing with it, understanding it, how it can win matchups now that it has a Psyduck to protect you against the Poltnor matchup, I feel like Pidgeot Control like seems solid for sure. It seems better than something like a Flareon Box or a Terrabox, and both these seem better than like a golden... Like I feel like this kind of like lines up. It's gonna be what, 1% of the metagame, maybe 2. All right, up next, Conkeldurr. But hold up, I do laugh, but I actually think Conkeldurr. I think Conkeldurr is actually better than Golden Go, Joltik Box, or Raging Bolt. I mean, it's favored against both those, but favored against Ceruledge, you're favored against Golden Go. You can beat Charizard, you can beat Zoroark, you get dumpstered by Gardevoir, and you have a bad Poltnor matchup. But like, I think I'd rather play Conkeldurr than Raging Bolt or Golden Go Joltik Box to me. I was looking at 1%. The Conk coming in higher than the Raging Bolts. I like how meta percentage does not necessarily reflect deck strength. Yeah. I mean, like, there's going to be like some obvious stuff. And there's also just always going to be some decks that are... There's always going to be some decks that are no matter how good everyone agrees the deck is, are not going to be ever super popular. Like Pidgeot Control. Like everyone in the community could be like, yeah, Pidgeot Control is broken right now. But it'll always be like at most it'll ever get up to like 5% probably. I did think you were about to leave Conk off the list. True. I was about to leave it off the list and it's not even D tier. All right, Alakazam to Dunsparce though. We'll put that in D tier at, I don't know, 0.5. No, will it be 1%? There's no way 1 of 100 people are playing Alakazam to Dunsparce. So we will get Alakazam to Dunsparce on the tier list. Put it in D tier alongside Joltik Box and Raging Bolt. Up next, Mega Venusaur, which I'm struggling to rate this deck. Ho Armor is broken. Why not on the list? I just don't think the deck's that good. Mega Venusaur, 1% meta share. In D tier or C tier? Probably D tier. I'm trying to like struggle with a reason to put it in C tier. I think Mega Venusaur is probably D tier. It is probably D tier. I can't. I'm struggling to come up with a reason why I would want to move it higher than D tier. I don't think that it is higher than D tier. Cynthia's Garchomp here. At this point, move Bolt up a tier, I guess. No, what the heck? It belongs right here alongside the Venusaurs and the Alakazams. Portuguese bumps it up surely. Venusaur decks aren't optimized. I do agree with that, Curry. I think there's a lot more to be done with Mega Venusaur, but I haven't seen it yet. So I can't just bump it up just based on what I think other people might come up with. We haven't seen it. We know what all these other decks are capable of. Cynthia's Garchomp. I think it is probably better than D tier, to be honest. I feel like the deck kind of matches up fine into most of the top half of meta decks. Like, the deck is just, like, super fine. It's not fine enough to be B tier, I don't think. I'm comfortable with Cynthia's Garchomp here in C tier. The deck just seems, like, super okay. Give 1% of the meta. I don't think we're going to see a ton of Cynthia's Garchomps. 3%? 3%? You think 3 out of 100 people are playing Cynthia's Garchomp? No shot. Crustle. Why is Crustle bad right now? Terrible Gardevoir matchup. And then besides that... Good against Charizard, good against Zoroark. Poltnor. Are you favored against Poltnor? What changed for Crustle? What changed for Crustle? Did anything really change for the Crust? You're favored against like Terra Ledges and Golden Goes. Psyduck. It did get Psyduck. Okay, it also got Shuckle. You're still getting dumpstered by Gardevoir. But then as we go through the rest of the matchups here... Honestly, though, I don't think I even want to put a deck in B tier that I don't think has a chance against Gardevoir, though. So I think I'm going to leave Crustle down here in C tier, because it just doesn't have a chance against Gardevoir. Like, the A tier decks, I think, are 50-50 slightly favored against Gardevoir. The B tier decks, like, Poltnor's unfavored against Gardevoir, but it's not the most ridiculous matchup for you to beat them. Grimshaw's is probably slightly favored against Gardevoir. Like, all these decks are, like, fine against Gardevoir. Except for Pidgeot Control. That could be the one where my understanding of the matchup might be off, but I feel like Pidgeot Control can beat Gardevoir at a reasonable rate right now. You can Shuckable as Voodoo Stall Monkey now with Crustle. Against Gardevoir. You can Shuckle plus... Does that even work, though? You get a Mist Energy. You have to get so much on your Voodoo. Well, you need 2 Shuckles in play, too, right? Mist plus Defiance? Bruh. Can you even set that up consistently against them? I feel like that's not even like a realistic play. Also, they could, if they just don't open a monkey, they just Scream Tail you to death, right? Wait, what is wrong with my math? Rachel's still in favor, but not 100-0. It's pretty bad though. Oh, we're talking about my 3 per 100. No, that makes sense, right? Like, Yeah, 3 of 100 people. If I put 3% Cynthia's Garchomp, we're saying 3 out of 100 people are going to be playing Cynthia's Garchomp, right? All right, Mega Lucario. Your Gardevoir matchup is terrible, but I do think Mega Lucario is like pretty good besides your terrible Gardevoir matchup. So I think it is a C tier deck. I think the deck is pretty powerful. We'll give him 1%. Zark has a 2% win rate against Crustle. Yeah, it's pretty bad. We should let chat turn their mics on so we could actually follow up to the questions and stuff. No. All right, Frost Last Monkey Dory. Another deck that I kind of like right now. With the new edition of Lilies. This deck has always felt like pretty solid. I think it is just like another C tier deck though, to be honest. 1% meta share. We're at 82.5% meta share. And then finally Archaludon, which once again, Archaludon feels fine. You can beat Gardevoir. I don't think it's a B tier deck. Ooh, actually Archaludon right now is maybe just kind of bad. You have to deal with Ceruledge and Golden Go. You go up against fine against stuff like Grim, Poltnor. Charizard, I'm actually not sure how that plays out, to be honest, but Charizard has to be tough. And Zoroark? That's a weird one where like both of you just don't want to punch the other opponent's Pokemon. The Gardevoir matchup is fine. Maybe I have to put Archaludon actually down in D tier, unfortunately, to be honest. I would like to put it higher. I really like the deck's really fun right now. The Mawile like a really good upgrade, but I mean, you're getting cooked by Golden Go, you're getting cooked by Ceruledge. Like, it's probably too much. And it's not like you're like, it's not like you beat the other top decks either. Like the Zoroark matchup is weird, and the Charizard matchup is probably just unfavored. So yeah, I think I have to put Archaludon down in D tier, unfortunately. I would like to put it higher because I really like the deck, and the Mega Mawile is like super cool in the deck, but I don't think it's enough to push it any higher. Okay, let's review. So we're covering 83.5% of the meta, which is fine. And then the rest is just whatever else other people bring. We could up some of these numbers a little bit, but honestly, we'll just go through it. Guardy S tier by itself, 16% seems fine. Charizard 6%, A tier, and Zoroark A tier as well, 2%, maybe 3. I can see Zoroark being a little bit more popular. We can give it 3%. Poltnor also might be a little bit more popular. This might actually be like more like 12, right? Still? Sure. Is Poltnor going to be 12%? I don't know. Let's give him 11. I'll give him 11. I'm comfortable with Grimmsnarl at 8. Oh yeah, where do I... yeah, Guardy up here, A tier, Charizard, and Zoroark. Poltnor in B tier. Deck seems super mid right now. Bad Guardian matchup. Grimmsnarl, deck feels fine. It's a fine deck that feels like it's fine in the metagame right now. Pidgeot Control, the best it's been in a while. Is it good enough? I might be overestimating how good Pidgeot Control is. I definitely wouldn't put Pidgeot Control in A tier. I'm more inclined to maybe put it in C tier, but I'm gonna leave it in B. Golden Go, more inclined to want to put it in C than want to move it up, but I'm okay with leaving Golden Go in the B tier alongside the Ceruledge. I'm a bigger fan of Ceruledge. Actually, Ceruledge, I'm inclined to want to put in A tier. My experience with Ceruledge, the deck just feels really good. I don't know if I'm missing something at all or not, but yeah, Ceruledge just seems really, really good right now. I don't think I'm missing anything. Should I make the call? Should I put it up in A tier? No, we'll probably leave Ceruledge in B tier. Ceruledge sucks. It definitely does not suck. I think Zoroark's percentage is higher for sure. Think so? Higher than 6? We can go 7. I saw someone else say 7 in chat. Sure. C tier. Is there anything I'd want to move up? I don't really care too much about their meta percentages. It's kind of whatever. We have a lot of decks on the tier list, so we're probably closer to like 90% with all the decks we have on the tier list. But Terrabox seems mid. Flareon seems mid. Cynthia's Garchomp seems mid. Lucario seems mid. Frostless Monkey Dory. I think out of all of these decks, the only deck that I would actually want to move up would be Frostless Monkey Dory. Out of these decks, the one I would want to move up to B tier would be Frostless Monkey Dory. But I think I'm comfortable leaving them all in C. And then do we want to move any of the D tier decks up? The last one to go through here. Move the D tier decks up to C tier. Raging Bolt is pretty bad. Mega Venusaur is pretty bad. Joltik Box Golden Go's pretty bad. Alakazam's pretty bad. Archaludon's pretty bad. And I think they're all kind of a step below the C tier decks as well. I don't think any of them deserve to go up any higher. Okay. Final thing we're going to do is I'm going to organize the decks in the tiers by the deck that I would want to play. By how much I would want to play the deck at the tournament. So, S tier, it's only Gardevoir. So if I was playing an S tier deck, I'd play Gardevoir. A tier, I would definitely play Charizard before I play Zoroark, although I like both decks. B tier, I think if I was going to play a B tier deck, I think it would be Ceruledge, then Pidgeot Control, then Grimmsnarl, then Golden Go, then Poltnor. So this isn't ranking them by how good I think they are. I am ranking them in the tiers by how much I would just want to play them at the tournament. For C tier here, we would go with Frostlass Monkey Dory, then Terra Box. A big part of this as well is just like how much I would actually want to be able to win the tournament, so I'd have to be able to beat Gardevoir. So I'm kind of ranking them by how likely I think they'd be able to beat Gardevoir. And Flareon Octowl versus Terra Box against Gardevoir. Sheesh, it's tough for both. I'd maybe go Cynthia's Garchomp over those, but these decks I feel like are a little bit... No, we'll go like that. And then Cynthia's Garchomp, then Lucario, then Conkeldurr, then Crustle. And then for the final tier, tier D, definitely Archaludon would be number 1. Mega Venusaur would be number 2. And then honestly, I think I would play Regibolt before I'd play Golden Goat Joltik Box, or I would play Alakazam to Dunsparce. I think Zard is S. It could be. At that point, I would probably just do like tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but same difference. And that's it. That's my tier list for the Milwaukee Regional Championships coming up this weekend. Roughly how popular I think the decks will be, and where I think they stand in a 5-tier list, with Gardevoir being the S tier deck of the tournament coming up. Remember, this tier list is just for Milwaukee. It's not a format tier list. It's a meta tier list. Metas are different tournament to tournament. What could be a good play in one tournament might not be a great play in the next tournament. But this is how I'm feeling about Milwaukee headed into it. Where's Porygon? Crying somewhere. Where's Straight Paul and Paul Zard? In the garbage.